He just looked at the game afterwards and he was like, oh, if I could just ghost here while he's spectating the game, like, of course you know what you should have done when you're spectating the game. The point is, how would you know in the game that you need to ghost earlier? How do you make that decision in the game? There's like 4 things that are great here. So something interesting that's happening is that I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. This is great position to be in. But also, like, I was in this space for like a couple of years where like I was confident that the things that I was saying was right. I would like watch somebody play and I would like, this is what you have to do differently. This is how you have to play to improve.
What's going on, guys? Besides here, this video is going to be a little different. I got coached by one of the best coaches in league that is out there, Max Waldo. He was previously coaching pro teams like C9. So if you want to learn a lot about the game and get better, this is a more theoretical session, but it's gonna be good for any rank and any role that you can be right here. Remember that on my Twitch, I give free UPGG review for any players that want to get better in the game and eventually climb. With the UPGG review, you will be able to find your own mistakes and see if the champions are good for climbing or bad for climbing. Are you having good champion pool or not? All what I have to do is follow my Twitch and ask for it, then enjoy the video.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Very excited to do this. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I went outside for a walk and then it started raining.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna share my screen with you. And when I normally do coaching for people who are just trying to climb, I'll look at their like OPGG page and I'll have like some questions about like where they're at or like what they want to do or some of their goals. But in your case, you're just focused on trying to help coach people better and trying to learn more about the game, trying to help other people learn more about the game. So this is where I'm going to ask you for some questions to start off. Like where do you want to go with coaching? What are some of your goals with coaching and what questions do you have specifically for me?
Well, first of all, so my goal with coaching is to be just one of the best public SoloQ coaches that there are out there. And the goal of this coaching would be to, one, get better at doing that, either to deliver information better or to just know more, and two, to validate and like kind of verify if I know what I'm doing. I would say that I do have some results. Like I have people, like I coach a lot of people. I coach more than like 2,500 people in total. Like I've been doing this for a while, like 4 years. And I've got people that climb from bronze to diamond, from gold to master tier. I coach people in challenger as well. But I kind of want to know like a more, advanced, like someone that is better than me. I want to know like what he thinks about like how I do things. So one is just to learn, and two to just validate like what I do. And obviously I do have some questions. Maybe we can go through this maybe after the votes, or I don't know how we should do this. But basically right now, that's what I do. I coach every single role, and I'm also trying to play SoloQ as much as I can. And I have like, my peak this season was Master 350. On West, and well, my peak was Challenger in season 9, but that was in season 9. And now, I just want to coach better and be a better player. That's basically it.
Cool. Okay, so all of your goals will probably lead towards the same thing. It's cool. Like all the things that you mentioned will basically just lead you to how do I get better at the game, and how do I get better at explaining the game? So just developing that skill is really like where all of this, you said you want to be like one of the best SoloQ coaches, get better at delivering information. You want to know that you know what you're doing. You've been doing this for like 4 years, right? So you just want to keep getting better at this skill.
Yes.
This is great. So, okay, great. So what are some things that you think you can do better before I watch any VOD? What are some things, you could also say things that you feel like you do really well. But just start with the things that you feel like you want to improve on.
I think that the way I explain concepts, I can be more clear. Maybe, as in sometimes I'm too simple in my explanation because of my vocabulary. Like I'm not fluent in, I am fluent in English, but that is not my native like language. And sometimes maybe I'm too simplistic, but I think that can also be a good thing. So maybe because like trying to not go too advanced in the concepts might help some people. And then
We'll talk about this one a whole bunch, like how in depth you should go, because it will always depend on the person that you're talking to. And a lot of times you can decide this off of rank. Like if you're talking to a challenger player, there's going to be more room to explain a concept with a lot of details. And if you're talking to someone who's gold, then the details are going to like fly right past them. This is all generally, because I will talk to some gold players who are like really interested and can actually work with a lot of the details. And I'll also meet challenger players that just don't interact with the ideas in the same way. I've met pro players who don't think about the game in the same way that I do. So I have to approach talking to them a little bit differently. So the important idea that I actually learned from reading books, I didn't learn this from like coaching people in League of Legends, is that you want to meet people where they're at. You want to find out like what level of understanding is this person at, and you want to try to get there with how you talk, and then try to go just a little bit forward, try to push them into like one step past where they're at. So I'm going to write this down.
Yes.
And this sounds kind of obvious. You don't want to talk like 4 levels above somebody or 4 levels below somebody. You want to try to find out relatively like where are they in understanding and how can I get them a little bit closer to where I would like them to be. Okay, do you have anything else off the top of your head? Because this is we'll come back to this one a lot, and this will be a great skill to develop.
Perfect, sounds good. No, so far I think we're good to go. The sessions that I choose are just master tier, and then master tier. Like, so I didn't choose like bronze, because it's just like, I don't know, I just felt like it's better to just find a little bit of a higher elo. So first is jungle, second is AD carry, third is AD carry.
Okay, these are 2 AD carry ones.
Yeah, 2 AD carries and then 1 jungle, yeah.
Do it like this then. Okay. I'm going to listen to it for a few minutes, and then
sounds good.
I will tell you what I'm thinking. Okay.
Now Max is gonna just listen to what I say, and then we're gonna go from there. It is when I explain the concept about ghost and about health on the runes, I think. And I think it's pretty good to like talk with him about it and like how we should like approach it. Let's see what he has to say about this. Whatever. See, this guy is a master tier player that I coached, and I think I get him from Diamond 1, and he picked 500 LP after the coaching, so he had some progress after the coach. He's a very, very good player in AD carry. Let's see what Max has to say here, because I just explained the in-phase fundamentals here, like how Karma has priority in like early on, and how he can play around tempo. Right now Max hasn't really hear us, so he's just like listening to the VOD review, to like see what I said in the VOD review, and like see how I can do it better. Here Karma should stay actually left hand side here. There's no reason, realistically speaking, for her to stay both side angle here.
Okay.
Okay,
a few things now. Okay, a whole bunch. I have like, there's like 4 things that are great here. So something interesting that's happening is that I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. This is great position to be in. But also like I was in this space for like a couple of years where like I was confident that the things that I was saying was right. I would like watch somebody play, and I would like, this is what you have to do differently. This is how you have to play to improve. And I would notice that, and I would watch it back. Like I would have to review my own coaching sessions to even figure this out, because I wouldn't understand it the first time I did it either. I watched it back. I realized that sometimes it doesn't matter if everything that you say is like 100% correct.
Okay.
You have to be able to say something that the other person can like hear and totally understand. So here's the first thing that I wrote down. That you said, if you want to scale in this lane, why did you take armor? And he took armor and Doran's Blade in this lane. Now, you guys agreed that they can push because it's Xayah Karma. So Xayah has big AoE on the minions, and Karma will always just zone Braum, and she can use Q on the wave, and she will poke Jinx even. Xayah and Karma should get pushed in this lane. So you're saying, well, you guys aren't going to like fight them to the death.
True.
So why don't you just take Longsword and take health, and then you get your mythic item faster and you scale faster? And I think he sort of agreed with you that he should do that. But I think that if he even changes this, because he didn't even like speak so much or like work out why, it's just sort of like, oh, if I push, maybe I should just like play for late game or to scale. Oh, how did I figure this out?
So he didn't get to understand the concept. He just took it as that it's right. That's the right concept because I said it. We didn't really go in depth on why it's right and the fundamentals on why is it like that.
Totally, yes. And I think that's not even the end of it. That like, yes, he would have just accepted what you said as the answer, but I don't even know if he understands why it's the right answer in this context, let alone another context.
I
So
see.
now I understand why this is correct, and I think you understand why this is correct. We just have to work on an explanation that more people can get on board with.
I
So
see.
what I've said to people is, if we are in agreement that you are going to push your lane, so you'll be able to recall and you won't be fighting so much like that you have to use the health on your Doran's Blade, then yes, we agree on the answer that we should get Longsword. But what we really want is our goals in the game to be aligned with our actions. So if we want to play for late game, then we should buy Longsword because it gets to our mythic item faster and helps us scale more. If we are going to fight at level 1, let me think of a lane that like fights really early.
Zairakan, Nautilus, Kaisa, maybe.
Yes, like any Nautilus Kaisa lane is likely they're going to fight. For example, like most Nautilus lanes in general are just going to fight early. So taking Doran's Blade in these lanes are going to make more sense because you're going to play against champions that are going to all in you. And when you are the Nautilus and the Kaisa, the Kaisa is going to want Doran's Blade a lot of times too, unless she's getting poked. But they're going to trade to all in you. So it's going to make more sense. So the goal that you have when you're explaining this idea to the person that you're coaching is that you want them to be equipped to make the right decision in every context. So you need an idea that applies to every context. So so I would give something like a time in the game where you can think about this. So the time where you would think about your level 1, your lane matchup, would be like in champ select or in loading screen. Yeah. You would think, what am I going to do level 1? How do I expect this lane to go? And the answer that you get from that question will decide what item you buy and your level 1 decision making if you're going to try to push and the item that you're going to have. So those things have to be totally aligned with each other because it seems like this guy thought that nothing was going to happen in the lane, but took the armor rune and took Doran's Blade anyway. Why are his actions not aligned with his thoughts? So you need to give him an opportunity in every game to have the thought of like, how is this lane going to go? What do I want to do? And then align his actions with that idea. Otherwise, like it's impossible for him to like solve it. He doesn't have a solution yet, even though he kind of knows the right answer.
I see, and maybe he should have also get Call, if I think about it, with Ghost and Health on the runes. If all what he wants to do is play around tempo, no? Like if he wants to fight, he can go Exhaust, Blade, Doran's Blade, and just play from there. But if he wants to play for late, go Ghost, Health, and just play for late. And Call.
Longsword pushes you to your mythic item faster, but Cole pushes you to your second item faster. So Cole is the fastest thing to get your second item, but Longsword is the best thing to get your first item. So now you have another layer of questioning where like, am I going to win this game off my first item, or am I going to go to 2 or 3 items? Because if you expect that you are going to win the game like post 2 items, then Cole becomes valuable. But if your team comp has to win much earlier than that, but your laning phase isn't going to be like explosive, it's not going to be a lot of fighting, then maybe you should get Longsword, right?
I see. So maybe in this game, I think getting Kraken Slayer faster, because it was last meta, so not after the changes. Getting Kraken Slayer faster won't change anything in this game. So maybe Kal is better. Maybe if he plays Ezreal, getting Essence River first is actually a good power spike to get like Longsword first. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, because Ezreal's not a crit ADC, so Ezreal's not going to scale crit as well as something like Xayah is. Xayah at 3 items, or Zeri at 3 items, right? These are the champions where you're going to hit these like 2 and 3 item spikes and win the game. But like Ezreal, if he gets an 8-minute Essence Reaver, he's unstoppable. He just walks mid, pushes every single wave, and disappears. And yeah, it's very frustrating to play against Ezreal when he's ahead in SoloQ. Let me think about this. Okay, your goal, you need to give people ways to find solutions to all of their problems, because you only talk to them for an hour, but they have to talk to themselves every single game that they play. So when you're coaching someone, you're trying to give them a way of thinking. The thing that you just did, you just thought about a bunch of conditions and a bunch of answers in the game. Like, what was it? It was, if I'm playing Ezreal, maybe my first item spike is better. If I'm playing a crit ADC, maybe my second and third item spikes are more important because of the metas and because of the champions that you're playing against, right? You want to give the ability to ask those kinds of questions to the person that you're coaching. So you have to tell them how to think about it. much more than
I see.
just the answer. Okay. This was the first couple of things. And then you asked, how do you want to play the lane? I'm going to listen to this again because I thought this was super important.
It's very, very insightful. I think I will watch it like 2-3 times actually. I will enjoy it 2-3 times.
Sorry, let me share my whole screen so you can hear him too.
Yeah, it would be good.
Yeah. Oops.
I already know. I remember what I said there actually because I watched this again, so I can know.
Yeah, and he's saying that he needs to get push, but then he's like, "Ooh, what is happening here?" He's saying that he wants to get push so that Jinx can't just like rocket the wave, but he's not playing like he should be the one who has push. He's not trying to aim his feathers or aim his Qs to hit Jinx. Oh, so maybe he thinks of push the wrong way. Okay, let me watch this one more time with this idea in mind.
Rocket the wave and get the push back. I think she does even out the push a bit, but yeah, I just kind of want to, like what you said earlier, I just want to have prio and just make sure we can stack waves on them and see if I can come. That's kind of what I was thinking.
I see. Let's see. So we're trying to get prio. This is really good. I want the first Q on the Jinx. Pretty good. We missed it, but pretty good. Karma goes into the brush. Super good. I don't like the feathers. So you're trying to push here? Let's see how the feathers are. Like the position of...
Oh. He said he was trying to push, but he's not.
He's not, yeah. I think that, so he told me that he lost this game against Jinx really hard. So maybe the reason why he wasn't really confident that he can push is because of what happened in the game that he got smashed. So maybe he has like PTSD from what happened in the game. Because when I asked him what should you be doing in this lane, he shouldn't tell me what happened. He should tell me what should the champions are designed to do in this lane. But he told me like what happened. So maybe that's why he was a bit...
Yeah, so he's saying like he's trying to push, but then like I just see him not autoing the minions.
Yes.
So I would be really interested in this. That like it seems like you feel like you should push, but then in the game you're not doing what you're saying you should do. This is one of the most important things to be able to do is to, in League of Legends, to say what you are going to do and actually do it, because that's how you learn something. If I say that I'm going to try to push, but then I get pushed in, all of the consequences of pushing, or all of the plans that I make for pushing, are going to be useless to me because I didn't even try to push the lane. So now I have to go into a new game, try to push in like a similar matchup or even the same matchup to actually learn the thing that I had the opportunity to learn before.
So it's like maybe like reading a lot of books but not really taking actions and like applying anything? You just read a lot of books?
Oh.
Because it's like you know the theory, but you know the theory, you know all of the concepts, but you don't apply them.
Yeah, so the answer, then you don't actually know it. You know what things should be like, but that's all in your head.
I see.
That's like saying the right play. The right play is just an idea in your head. It doesn't actually exist unless it's a practical thing to do.
I see. And how do you
a lot of people get tripped up on this. The practical part? How do you get to do the practical part?
If you know the theory.
Yeah, so, well, first of all, this guy wants to push, right? He's telling you that, like, oh, I want to keep prio in this lane and push. So my first question is, like, well, why are you not autoing off cooldown? Why are you not pushing as fast as you can? Or, like, trying to win push at least? Because to push the lane, you don't have to push like 10 times faster than your lane opponent, but you need to be auto attacks ahead. Your minions have to be healthier than theirs. So like, why are you standing still when there's 3 blue melees alive and Jinx is killing the second one?
Karma uses Q. Let's see the next Q here.
Like, she's gonna be even in this lane, and now he's clicking backwards. Why is he clicking backwards?
We're gonna use Q on the Jinx or is he Q on the wave?
So if you know like the theory, but then you don't do it, do you actually even know it? Because it seems like this person, even though he's saying that like he can push, that it should be no problem, and that that's what he wants to do, he's just not doing it. So
I see.
What does it mean to know something? Right?
To know the theory, to apply it?
Yeah, I think in League of Legends as a player, to know something means that you can do it.
I see.
That you know it will happen and you can take control over it. I think, like, and as a coach, you can know something, But unless you can explain every step and every thought the person would have to do it, like your effectiveness to help the person go from not being able to do something to being able to do something is like there's a gap there. There's something missing if you can't explain to them like all of the steps, right?
It's
So I
like
might know. Oh, go ahead.
maybe it's like hypothetically speaking, let's say I never was challenger on jungle and I was only on AD carry and support, let's say, and then I coach a jungle that is challenger and I'm trying to explain to him. Maybe I don't know all of the details of the concepts, right? Because I wasn't there playing jungle. I just know maybe the theory and I didn't apply them.
Yeah. Like, let's say you know that Xayah should push, but you don't know how she's going to get the push.
I see.
Then how do you know that she can if you don't know how?
I see.
And I think that's where he's at. I think he feels like he can, but he doesn't know how. And that's the gap that you have to bridge. You have to tell him how he can do it and how he needs to think about it.
I see.
All right, I'll go a little bit further.
And on the wave is gonna be fine. I see. This Q is missed. You should look to Q, right?
Yeah, I probably should have traded right there with her.
Exactly. You could just go behind the minions and like force a trade. Also, personally, if this is like challenger.
Ooh, okay. I might pause a little bit more. I should watch a few minutes at a time, but this one caught me. He said I should probably trade there, but he's not. So I'm like, oh, I don't know what he knows at this point. Like,
and
so I want to know.
He also says probably, so he's confused about what he should be doing, no?
Yes. So I'm asking, why didn't you trade? Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about in this moment? You already have push. So this is how you know that you have push right now, is that you killed their 2 casters. So you're like 3 auto attacks off of here, 2 if you get Karma to auto attack, and Jinx has to like stand here where you can trade with her and auto like 3 more times with rockets. And then if the wave is even, that's totally fine with you anyway. Like, you're still going to hit level 2 first with Karma. So you should be trading with Jinx as aggressively as possible right now, because you're going to hit level 2 first. You're going to get control of this wave. You want Jinx to be as low HP as possible, because you're going to crash in base every time. So why don't you just like fight her? And now he's not thinking about these things. He's not thinking about who's going to crash the wave first, or that Jinx has to auto attack these minions like 3 times to make the wave even. So this is the gap that I want to bridge. So I start by asking him, like, what are you thinking about and why didn't you trade? So that he can start working through what he was thinking about in the moment, and also what he's thinking about right now, because his thoughts right now don't seem to make too much sense either.
Yes.
So I want him to talk more and more and work with him to shape his thoughts. I was here for so long where everything you're saying, I'm confident right now, everything you're going to say to this person is going to be right. But it won't help him so much unless you give him a path to doing it.
I see. Exactly. You could go behind the minions and like force a trade. Also, personally, if this
like, yeah, of course he should walk forward and trade. Yeah, I agree.
It's better if Karma stays here. Because if I'm Jinx and Karma is right here, and I know Karma has as a mantra, what am I gonna say here? I mean, true, but Xayah can stay into the brush and Q her instantly.
Yeah.
So I think that usually Blitzcrank or like most of the supporters, they generate more pressure by staying into the brush. But I just think that how Karma works, Lux as well. It's either Xayah and Karma, they both stay right here and you poke from the same angle, or Karma stays here so she has a very wide angle of attack, and then you stay here.
Yeah, because the thing is, Jinx feels completely safe standing right there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's like, we should always have pressure on her in the lane.
I think that it's always, Karma wants to always hover Jinx, like she needs to move here, and if Jinx moves right here, she should reposition it like the other way. So what you should have done is that you should go right into the brush and then ping her, ping on the, like that she should stay on the left angle. Like Karma is like, this is D1, so like, she's not really thinking about these things. But no problem. So let's see what we're gonna do. So the next, what you're gonna do, the next steps is very important for Grandmaster AD carry. So let's see the Q. Okay, trying to push. Let's see Q. Okay, so again, it's the second Q you didn't do it on her, right? The second Q. So you're not queuing on her as much as you should. Good. And then here, she walks up. She's gonna space a bit. Okay, good dodge. Okay, here, let's see. Good auto attack. Okay, let's see the Q. Okay, this time at least you did Q on her.
Yeah.
How should you use the feathers right now? You're passive.
I want to use them to to exactly where my feathers are right now. I think is where they wish.
But why?
So that I can get the, well, like, just so I can hit her with them. But then once we end up getting level 2, then they're gonna be in the area.
Exactly. So you can play right here, and just put it like this. In fact, what I would personally do, I would actually put the feathers like this intentionally. So she's gonna zone herself
walk back, right? Yeah,
exactly.
she has to walk back.
Exactly. So here.
Ooh, he got this one. Now this idea is a little harder, so I still don't know if he'll be able to apply it, because this is like a lot of Xayah players do this really bad. They don't understand where their feathers need to go for like 5 to 6 seconds in the future, like when they hit level 2. Like if he places his feathers here and he hits level 2, suddenly he pulls and roots, or just pulls and damages. It's just, this takes a lot more awareness to do, because it's smaller for Xayah, but he got this one because you walked him through every step of it. You said like, okay, like where are you going to use your Q? So you're telling him, think about every Q that you cast. He needs to think about every spell that he casts. It's probably something he wasn't doing before, because he's just randomly casting his Q on the wave. And then you're saying, okay, now you have feathers from your Q. Where are you going to place your feathers? And now in his mind, I think he's thinking, oh shit, I need to think about that. Like, yeah, you need to think about that. So he's well, I need to think, like, where is Jinx going to be standing for the next few seconds? And he's like, oh, I'm going to put it where she would be safe autoing the minions, so that she's not safe there. And it's like, oh shit, like this guy's thinking now. Now he's thinking like, the Karma's on the right, so if my feathers are on the left, it's harder for Jinx to auto attack the wave. Maybe she'll go to the center, but that's where Karma wants her, because now Karma can hit her. Now, again, to that extent, he might not be there, but it's like closer. He's getting closer to thinking about how to actually win this lane, instead of just pushing the minions like and going even, while having Armor Rune and Doran's Blade.
Oh yes. Really autopilot. This feather, autopilot. Stay here, feather like this, pressure, ruler, deft, Teddy, Gumayushi. They do this because now this you played okay for Diamond 1, Master tier, but this is still very bad executed right now if you're playing Grandmaster Challenger. Like here's another feather that you missed. Let's see the next Q. Good walking up. Okay, you could have killed her, I think. So
if I queued earlier before Braum could walk there.
Yes, or I think I would ghost here instantly, because you just get level 2. And I will not QE here, because we know that they're gonna get level 2 and Braum is gonna E. So I would W for movement speed so I can get here. Ghost, W here. She's gonna panic flash probably, and we can kill her. Because if you go for E, the E is not gonna help you at all with the Braum. Look at the E. If you had W, imagine. Because W gives you how? 30%? 35% attack speed.
Yeah. I would have won this so hard.
Yes.
Oh, this one's hard. Okay. Again, what you're saying is right. Of course. You hit level 2 first. The Jinx is walking up to hit level 2 here, and Karma is going to W, and you're going to one-shot them. Okay, let me listen to it one more time, because I gotta hear what this guy's thinking. Okay.
Movement speed so I can get here. I would go, because we know that they're gonna get level 2 and Braum is gonna E. So I would W for movement speed so I can get here. Ghost, W here. She's gonna panic flash probably, and we can kill her. Because if you go for E, the E is not gonna help you at all with the Braum. Look at the E. If you had W, imagine. Because W gives you how? 30%? 35% attack speed.
Okay. Here's something I think you can start doing that will immediately make... So I get frustrated at myself when I do this in coaching. I've just started like getting halfway through an explanation and then being like, shit, what am I doing? Where if I get really excited about seeing an answer, a lot of times I'll like blurt it out almost like, oh, what you need to do here is like you need to hit level 2 and then click here and then go here and then you pop ghost immediately because you're gonna kill them. I get so excited because I'm like I see that if I'm playing any character in this lane, like I'm going to make this kill happen. But you need to get them to ask themselves that question. So instead of giving an answer, try to get them to say it. Try to ask them enough questions where this guy says, "Oh, like they should die," without you saying it.
I see.
Asking open-ended questions, and don't be too leading either, because I've made this mistake too, where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask him questions, but then I'm like, okay, like who do you think is stronger at level 2? And it kind of leads him into like answering a certain way. You have to ask him as neutrally as possible, and then try to get him and like sometimes they'll just be wrong, right? And that's okay. Like you kind of have to let them say the wrong answer and then be like, okay, it's like this for these reasons. But then you understand the reasons that they used to get that answer, which is really helpful. Getting to hear the reasons people use will help you understand where they're at, I think, better than anything else. Because when I'm sure when you talk to like really experienced players, I don't know how many people actually think of the game totally in this way, but like when I look at the game, I'm trying to find the best answer based on how much gold something's going to give me, how much experience it's going to give me as well, and like how much time that it takes. So the reason why I want to deal damage to someone is because when I deal more and more damage to them, they can't get golden experience anymore. And that's like fundamental to the game, that if they can't get golden experience, I'm getting advantages over them.
I see.
But other people will say things like, I want to trade in this lane because Gumayushi does it. And these reasons will come from like strange places. And that's what you need out of people. You need people to tell you these things, because not everyone is thinking about things the same way as you. I almost made the mistake right now of thinking that that just like challenger players just thought about the game the same way that I did. That's not true. So first of all, this is why people are coming to you for coaching, is because they can feel that something is not quite right and that they can get better. They don't know how to get better, but they believe that it's possible for them to get better. So you need for them to tell you all of the fucked up reasons that they come to conclusions in the game, right? You need them to talk to you until you realize, like, oh, this is why you're at the MMR that you're at. This is why you can't climb. This is why you're so frustrated with the game. You won't get that out of anyone if you give them the answer. You have to withhold that from them so that they tell you everything that they're thinking.
I see.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. What do you think? What's up? Because I'm gonna take a 1 minute break and drink some water, because now we're getting into it. This is good.
It's very insightful. I think that asking question is definitely one of the best, if not the best, way to like get someone to do the right thing and to kind of understand like the essence of why is the right thing the only thing that they should be doing. And I think maybe when I coach like super high elo, I don't give them the reasoning. I think I do this more at like goal level, because in my mind goal level are like not that good, so I have to always ask them to see like where they're at. But maybe I was having the assumption that this guy is very good because he picked like 500 LP. So I think maybe that's my mistake, because I don't know what he doesn't know, so I have to walk him through all of the steps, I guess.
Yeah, you help them the same way. So you help the gold. It's more obvious with the gold player though, that like, okay, clearly there's so much you don't know. Yes. So let's like try to figure out what you do know. But then you figure out later that it's true for everyone. That everyone is just at a certain point, and they probably think something really stupid about the game. And if you can just talk to them enough, and if people can talk to me enough, like I'll have that realization too. Like, oh, this is just a feeling that I have. I don't have like good reasons for some of the things that I actually do in the game, even if the way that like I reason about it might be pretty solid. The actions that I take in the game might make no sense at all. And having someone talk me through that and like asking me to explain it is what reveals it to myself. So this is the whole goal, is you need to have, by the end of it, you want the person you're coaching to feel like these things are obvious. Like, why am I not thinking about how to like kill somebody at level 1 or level 2? This guy walks into lane and I don't think he trades with people, because he's playing Xayah Karma with Armor Rune D-Blade, and he's just going 50-50.
Yeah.
So like, what lane do you need to fight people? You are against level 1 Braum.
Yes.
Like, I don't think he would hit anyone. So again, this is like another thing that he's saying but he's not doing, that if you could get him to feel like this is so obvious, the moment that I walk into lane at level 1, I need to be thinking about like, how can I hit them? How can I get push while hitting them? These are things that would make him get Grandmaster, Challenger. How is he Master Tier?
Yes.
Yeah, I would have won this so hard.
Yes.
I mean, he was close, and we did burn his flash.
Yeah, okay, so we burned the flash. Did you know what
I did? I knew right here that I could have killed Jinx, but I didn't play it right.
Yeah. Okay, what is the jungle right now?
If I ghosted earlier in the fight.
Oh, sorry.
I said if I ghosted earlier in the fight, then I would have definitely been able to kill Jinx there.
Oh my god. I'm having a brain blast here. Okay, so here, I'll give you like a line of dialogue here. He says, I could have killed Jinx. Yes. I could have killed Jinx.
Yes.
I know. He said, I know I could have killed Jinx. I know I could have killed Jinx. Okay. And I hear that, and I'm like, that's super interesting. How do you know that? Or like, oh, what I would have asked, what would you need to do differently? What would you need to do differently? I used to ask, what would you need to do better? But now I just ask, what would you need to do differently to get the kill? And he says, I needed to ghost earlier.
Yes.
Okay. And that sounds like a solution because it's the right answer, but it's not a solution. It's a trick. It's a post hoc realization. He just looked at the game afterwards and he was like, oh, if I could just ghost here while he's spectating the game, like, of course you know what you should have done when you're spectating the game. The point is, how would you know in the game that you need to ghost earlier? How do you make that decision in the game?
I see. Maybe when you think like after the karma hits the root and you know it's a reliable play that you can burn sums.
You know that engage spells, like commitment spells, if Karma's W is going to proc, then you are committed to this fight because Karma's going to be close to them, Jinx is going to be rooted, and then you're going to be able to land your root. So you know that if someone is using these committal spells, and this will happen for team fights too, this idea happens all over the game, that if someone is going to use their engage spells to go forward, the fight is going to happen. It's very hard to disengage the fight like right now when Braum and Karma are in melee range. So then you should do whatever it takes to win the fight because this is over so much value right now. If you can ghost and move forward and make Jinx either die or use her flash and you don't, then you're winning everything. You're going to crash the next wave and you're going to base, or you're going to just stay and crash the fourth wave. And then I don't know, maybe you have enough. He doesn't have enough from Noon Quiver. He just has to base whenever he can get a good.
For those of you who are struggling winning and climbing in solo queue but are serious about getting better, I also do coaching for players that want to improve and get their gameplay to the next level. Coaching can't make you better if you just play normals and ARMs and don't like playing ranked, or you don't care about improving, you just play for fun, or let's say you just play the game for like 3 hours, maybe 4 hours per week, and that's about it. Coaching doesn't help you. Coaching can help you if you feel hard stuck, if you struggle carrying games, if you want to stop wasting time auto-piloting and not learning anything, if you run into a circle for a long time, if you want to find out the mistakes that hold you back, or simply maybe you have problems with the wave management, maybe you feel lost throughout the mid game, maybe you struggle with the decision making, macro, and you just want to learn how to do it properly from a professional coach. Or let's say you have difficulties checking the enemy jungle and you die a lot to ganks, or simply maybe you just want to learn how to carry 1 versus 9 so you can actually climb and stop really wasting time. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and book your own coaching now and start improving instantly. I'll see you in the session.